OMG. Sorry, let me mute that real quick as it is a very exciting time. This is the first game of the year for FPX, our 2019 World Champions, who have recently acquired last year's World Champion top laner Nuguri from Damwon Gaming. Everybody knows this. On the other side, we got OMG. I am not going to lie to you. I do not know particularly much about OMG yet. I mean, we'll see what we'll see how it looks then. We're gonna have a fresh new look at OMG. They have a chance now to beat all like a previous world champion. It's pretty exciting. I've kind of been a fan of the OMG brand, I'm not gonna lie, since season 2, but only the brand because the way their symbol is formed from OMG I thought was amazing. Alright, so going in real quick, we're going to have three bands on FPX. It's going to be a Pantheon, a Talia, and a Zoe band. And the side of OMG is going to be an Akali, an Aatrox, and a Camille band. Aatrox, of course, is insane right now. Basically unkillable. Akali is an incredible champion, can be flexed, and Camille is just OP. That's straight up from last season. On the side of FPX, we got two semi-global ultimates that are banned out. Talia Jungle, of course, one of the strongest picks right now. Pantheon, also incredibly strong, can be flexed into 3 lanes. Doing B, of course, a Pantheon player. Tien, I've no doubt being able to play Pantheon, and Crisp also being Pantheon support, also being quite strong, is also a side of Crisp. Nuguri would know that because in his old team, Beryl was considered one of the best Pantheon supports. Incredibly aggressive player. So first pick Kaisa on the side of FPX, followed by a counter Thresh Aphelios on the side of OMG. OMG's team comp kind of coming together already. On your screen, you have Stake. Was Stake? Well, he's from Gamma Bears, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, and then a jungler locked in an Olaf on Tien. A flex pick set on the side of FPX can be played in 4 lanes actually. Incredible flex pick. And now with Strike Breaker, he doesn't really fall off either. He's got a little dash where it comes with a little slow. On the side, OMG, a Victor and Alistar ban at FPX. I wouldn't be surprised for them to perhaps ban a mid laner here. Perhaps consider banning a Syndra ban, maybe even an Orianna ban. They could of course ban another top laner, but then there's the pool for top laners is so big right now. I do not really know what another top lane ban would entail. I suppose FPX are just planning on going into this game giving Nuguri, hopefully giving Nuguri or doing B a counter pick option here with their second last and third last pick. On the side of OMG now, it's time for them to decide which solo lane they want to reveal. Of course, they're going to show the Galio, show the global map pressure. I kind of like set into Galio, but by the looks of it, FPX do not really like that look, and I have a feeling that this is most likely going to be a support set we are seeing here. Orianna, a perfectly strong Orianna, perhaps one of the most stable picks going into the entire game, and Kennen, a Nuguri classic. Or they could opt to go for the Gragas. Gragas, of course, being a pick that does not lose lane so much, honestly. The strength of Gragas is that he is so stable, he can play pretty much any lane, as we're getting a beautiful shot of Nuguri's forehead, which has been covered completely by his hair. Might want to tell him to lay back a little bit. It's only the first game of the season, buddy. Calm down now. But I have no worries about his temperament or his mental going into this. He is, after all, world champion, battled back from adversity, being knocked out of the 2019 Worlds at the quarterfinals, I think, by G2, and then coming back in 2020 to win it all, to be a champion. Going with the Gragas pick, like I said, very, very strong in lane. Gragas doesn't really fall behind. He's got ways of ranged wave clear. He's got tons of disengage. He can knock people back. He got great engage as well. As OMG go with the Renekton, and as expected, it is a set support that we are seeing on the side of FPX. Looking at the team compositions, a good amount of mixed damage coming in from the side of FPX, and OMG's got a very nice front to back protection scheme going on here. They also have if they needed the Renekton to slide into the backlines with the Galio ulti to support him, to split the fight into 2, to split up the front line of FPX, which will consist of Crispian and Nuguri. However, considering the fact that FPX has these great engage displacement tools, being the Gragas ultimate as well as the set ultimate, if they somehow get behind the Aphelios, I'm afraid Aphelios will not last very long into the damage of the Kaisa as well as the Orianna. overall, looking at the team compositions, I would say I would definitely be giving the early game advantage towards the side of FPX, and it's great because FPX is one of those teams we've seen them before. They can push the tempo when they need to. They are incredibly effective at playing the game out and know what they need to do and when they need to do it by. So I have complete confidence in them. I'm sorry, other side for OMG, I love those Nike ticks, honestly, on that pure black background with those just plain white singular ticks. Magnificent. Going into the game, I must say that the initial advantage is definitely going on to the side of FPX. They've got this very Olaf, still the strongest early game jungler. Nuguri has got a nice little. I feel like to a large extent, Renekton kind of counterpicked himself. I feel like New kind of counterpicked himself with New and Aki both being AD. Gragas can itemize very effectively against them. In fact, Gragas can the entire FPX team can itemize quite effectively against the entirety of OMG, because the fact remains that the only bit of magic damage is really coming out from the side, and that's the OMG logo that I was previously talking about. The only magic damage that's really coming out on the side of OMG is coming from the Galio, who admittedly they do build AP generally going from last season into this season. It's not like a huge AP threat. He's got a bit of a burst maybe, so you could get like, I think if you just get a bit of an MR, like half of an MR item, not even a fully completed MR item, just one MR item, it would be incredibly effective. Not to mention on the side of FPX, despite there being mostly AD, I would be quite comfortable with going Milk Treads because the stun from Renekton, the taunt from Galio, as well as the roots coming in from Aphelios, as well as the hooks coming in from Thresh, all can be negated to a certain extent by Mercury Treads, which means when Mercury Treads are good against a team, Olaf is great in that team because Olaf basically has the extreme Supremes. He's got the Supremes version, the Yeezys, basically, of Mercury Treads, and that's his R button. He just runs forth like a train, like a wrecking ball. Miley Cyrus knows. Looking at the lanes, immediately flash in from Chris, clapping Eric into LWX. Exhaust comes out. Eric trading OMG with their range advantage are trading back in the retreat. However, very aggressive looks there on the side of FPX. This is exactly what you want to see from them. They dominate the early game with their picks. They have much more push in 2 of their lanes, even 3 as I would say 3, but Galio pushes his lanes incredibly well. Chris igniting to get his movement speed for claps gold into it. Gold getting damage from every possible source, and he's taken down incredibly aggressive there by FPX in the early game before their jungler even has the chance to clear their entire blue side jungle. Meanwhile, on the side of OMG, New pushes out the wave, looks to see where he started, considering there was no leash. Now OMG have a rough idea on which side of the map FPX's jungler started. Same goes for the side of OMG, honestly, because FPX do not have much of a clue here which side Aki started on with the Graves. Graves, of course, being able to full clear his jungle, and we're seeing the phase rush Graves, which is different from the fleet footwork Graves that we've seen in the last game we casted, this is more of what I expected, honestly. However, like I said, maybe the circumstances just didn't allow for that to happen. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, things seem to be going pretty normal. Reset now by LWX, coming back to lane with a huge item advantage over Eric. Eric with still just his Doran's Blade as Aki and Wuming move up to the topside river to secure Scuttle priority. Graves, of course, able to pop the shield incredibly easy with simply his auto attack on the Scuttle Crab. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, we see that both junglers have shook hands and just traded Scuttle Crabs. Seeing as to how they both started on opposite sides of the map, it is to be expected. I don't believe Tian is going to look for much here. It is quite dangerous to try and dive them without your ultimate, as Tian, I think, is just going to look to power farm until level 6, backing now to get his items. Nuguri basically taking no damage with his bone plating from New. As I say again, he's just having the time of his life, basically. Getting his grasp of the Undying stacks as New, trying in vain to stack his Conqueror. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, getting some harass now on the Galio. His Orianna, a pick that he kind of picked up over the last year, seems to be faring pretty well, honestly, on it, as he tries to scoop up the remainder of the CS on this lane, as both mid laners reset now at the 4-minute mark. Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. However, I do not know. I expect now with the aggression of FPX that Tian would be looking to secure these dragons as soon as possible, with the main objective of course being to secure the 8-minute Rift Herald for the side of FPX. In the top lane, Nuguri and New looking to be tussling out, and New definitely getting the advantage in terms of priority with the lack of a secondary resource, meaning he does not need mana to spam his spells. Meanwhile, Nuguri mana pool looking kind of low. On the bot side here, despite that early aggression, it seems that OMG's bot lane has the ability to get priority. This is of course due to the range of OMG's bot lane. Meanwhile, Tian moving down with Doing B, who has managed to secure priority by getting 2 lane first. Pink Ward going out in the river as a 5-minute dragon to be expected here on the side of FPX. They want to get as much as possible before OMG gets scaling, before they get to that point. OMG looking to contest, however, this will be a 4v3 situation as Wu Ming has yet to move from the mid lane. However, teleport coming in from the side of New as Nuguri is now only backing, therefore he cannot teleport. Ultimate coming out from the Galio. The fight is split. Crisp is in the middle of the entire team, but Wu Ming goes for LWX instead. LWX taken out. Crisp going to have to flash the wall. However, he does not have flash from the initial engage as the kill is gifted over to Eric. A fantastic collapse there on the side of OMG. OMG seeing that Nuguri was still in lane, that he had no mana, that he had no opportunity to teleport. Teleports in, turning the fight from an initial 3v4 into a 5v4 situation, taking an exceptional fight. New getting into the perfect position to allow for Wu Ming's ultimate to split the fight. Chris was in between the front and back line of OMG, completely stuck, left as the last tasty snack, the best for last for Eric, who scoops up that kill. Overall, a great turn of events for the side of OMG, who managed to bring the gold, equalize the gold overall in the fight. As we can see here, the teleport comes in. Aki actually enables Galio to split the fight as Crisp is in the back line. Meanwhile, New zones out Tian. LWX is jumped on by 3 members as New just peels off Tian, who's forced to flash over the wall. Crisp is just dancing around. Please, somebody let me out. And Eric lets him out, alright. Lets him back to the base in the fastest fashion possible, taking the fast lane, the fast pass back to base. Great fight there by FPX, who seem to have overstepped, to have not remembered the fact. I think a bit of a breakdown of communication there, as they did not seem to remember that. I'm sure they remember, but I guess they didn't put into consideration that New had the ability to teleport. Perhaps a bit of the miscommunication coming in there. I always wondered how the Korean pros coming into these games, coming into the LPL region in particular, how they adapt so quickly to the language. And a lot of times when you see the interviews between the Korean, like in teams where there's a single Korean, especially in the PCS and the LPL, they will give the interview in Korean. They will respond in Korean. So I wonder how the communication works really. That being said, Doing B is himself Korean, even though so many people associate him with being a Chinese player, being an LPL player. He's in fact originally a Korean, so I'm sure that really helps the whole communication aspect of this, given that Kim-gun also at one point, Kim-gun also was a Korean player, and his communication in the end was good enough for them to win the 2019 World Championship, so there can be no doubt. That being said, going back to the game, OMG is now rotating their bot lane up. However, after more contemplation, FPX have gotten priority in the mid, in the top, and OMG's bot lane decide to go back to the bot lane to pressure the tower to start scaling. They are completely fine with giving up this one, and that is great. That's good to see from OMG. They know when to take a fight. They are a scaling team, but they still fought for Dragon because they saw that they had the advantages that they needed, and that was exceptional. That was great. That was fantastic performance. Now they see that Rift Trail is being taken. They do not have priority in 2 lanes. They have no, if their bot lane, they can rotate their bot lane up, but will that actually change anything? And they decide that it won't, so they give it up. They go back to the lane and they continue to try and get their resources onto this Aphelios, who will be the main damage dealer in the fights to come if it gets past a certain point. So it's great to see there from OMG playing an exceptionally well thought out game. They've put everything into consideration, and now I feel like we're going back to a simple farming lane. We won't see very much getting done until maybe a minute before Dragon, which is only 20 seconds from now. So only 20 seconds of reprieve of peace now, as Eric using some of his range, throw on some damage onto LWX, basically having to farm on the turret as the bottom lane of OMG look to get some deep vision right before, in order to set up for Dragon. I wouldn't be surprised to see this Rift Herald go down on the mid lane right before Dragon spawns, maybe at about the 20, 30 or 40-second mark. Doinb having no problems now securing priority against Galio due to his range advantage, and just simply harassing Galio, not really doing much damage, but however doing enough for him to see. Galio looking to reset on his Galio 40 seconds before Dragon starts. Doinb probably looking to do the same as soon as he pushes out this wave, unless he already had his reset, in which case he probably would be perfectly happy to just continue pushing the waves, forcing the Galio to lose more resources. Nuguri on the top side has basically completely stabilized. As you can see, this is how he just counters a lot of people, because even if you can get on him, he can body slam you away. Doinb roaming up now. It'll be exciting to see how Doinb changes the dynamic of this team, because going in to 2020 from 2019, FPX kind of played the same way. They kind of played with that bottom side, looking to play towards their bottom side, looking to play towards LWX and leaving Gimgun to be the weak side, to play his gangplank picks, to impact the map and just be completely independent. Now it seems the FPX giving up second dragon in order to rotate to the top side, accelerate the game, meanwhile giving up their bottom side out of fear of getting doven by Aki, by Wuming. Incredibly strong tower diving combo here on the side of OMG. You don't want to really be stuck under a tower with the champions that they have. Nuguri harassing New with basically completely in control of this lane at this point, as he's, I wouldn't want to say outscaled, but he is tanky enough to take care of New and probably tank Aki for long enough for Doinb and Tian to get there. Also knowing that his team was on the top side, FPX securing complete topside vision of OMG's jungle. However, OMG doing the same to the bot side jungle of FPX. More likely than not, both teams know this, as we have a handshake trade going on here. OMG, I think, are perfectly happy with that. In fact, I think they might be, to a certain extent, at quite an advantage here, because a trade going down is perfectly fine if you are behind or if you're a scaling team. So the fact that FPX haven't been able to get an advantage so far, I think bodes very well. However, FPX is going to be very strong going into the mid game as well, so there is plenty of things to worry about on the side of OMG. For one, FPX's engage is pretty exceptional with Nuguri, with Crisp, and with Doinb, each of which can also fall back and play a follow-up CC/engage for the side of OMG, as Cold roaming up throws out the hook, throws out the lantern, puts up the box. However, no one is there to pick up the box, as Nuguri uses his ultimate to send Eric away from him again. Cold in a unfortunate position as Tian flashes over the wall, pops Ragnarok, Nuguri body slams over the wall, and this is where things start to go awry for OMG. Overstepping, looking to collapse onto Nuguri. Nuguri definitely stronger. Nuguri stepping backwards, allowing Tian to tank the hook for him. However, the barrel and the axe fly forth and nail him nail him behind the tower, as they'll keep on going on both sides of the map. LWX and Chris diving the New, looking to get some blue suede crocodile shoes for LWX, as Nuguri and Tian continue to go on to Aki. However, Aki, using his ultimate to get some distance between them, manages to survive the second round of the dive. Meanwhile, it's only 13 minutes into a game, and there's incredible proactivity from both teams. However, OMG, you are not the ones who need to be proactive right now. You need to stay back and farm and keep your AD carry safe. Cold here doing a great job trying to pick out Nuguri, but this shows you how strong he is in the early game. The lantern brings in Eric, who gets sent away by Nuguri's ultimate. Tian, seeing his opportunity, flashes over, pops Ragnarok, makes a beeline for Eric, who uses his flash, tries to do dance, tries to do the Michael Jackson, tries to run away. Nuguri just body slamming over the wall, so much mobility. Nuguri's beautiful sidestep here to let Tian tank the tank the hook, and throws out the barrel onto Zhonya, showing there's no point having a Zhonya's against a Gragas, and he is incredibly tanky at this point, with all the AD coming in on the side OMG, with the resistances he's getting from his W. Nuguri is just having a field day in the top side. And even on the bottom side, I think Chris and Abdullah did a great job seeing that New was alone down there, just taking the opportunity, not letting him, as soon as he decided to stay on the tower, they decide, alright, we're going to dive him on this wave, we're not going to give him any opportunity to reconsider, not giving him any opportunity to run, as they pull out a fantastic dive. Chris' flash was forced out there, means he will not have it for the next dragon fight. So if he gets stuck into the Dragon Pit like he did in the last round, there is no saving him, unfortunately, unless he can channel his Hex Flash in time. With Dragon coming up in a minute and 20 seconds, Cold and Aki looking to get some topside vision, looking to get some deep vision. A beautiful predict on the side of Gold, but Nuguri is so tanky as the ultimate comes out. He just flashes over the wall. No flash for the next Dragon. However, he flashes into his team, but the body slam giving him tons of mobility. The resistance from his W. LWS throws out the Prey Seeker and the heal coming in. Nuguri is so tanky as FPX. Nuguri just pulls out a miraculous escape. Second Herald going on to the side of FPX, which is probably their main priority. They want to accelerate the game. They want to get this. They want to break open the towers. They want to open up the map and allow themselves to make some picks. But Nuguri, going back to that was an exceptional escape. He had to use his flash for sure, but he got away from 4 people. That should have been a kill for sure. Cold with a beautiful prediction hook. Hooks Nuguri in his only escape option as Nuguri went over the wall, over the dragon wall into their base, which would in towards the river towards OMG side of the map, which would have been catastrophic, as Doing B is pushing quite far up, knowing that Tian is in the top side jungle. Chris trying to run towards Eric, using the Ignite to get the Nimbus Cloak speed up. However, Eric just binds him with his rocket launcher, with his Gravitum gun. LWX here being kind of chunked out by the range advantage of Eric. That being said, Dragon is spawning in 7 seconds, and it looks to me that OMG is in a much better position to be contesting this Dragon than FPX, Doing B was top lane just now, and Galio was up there too, but Galio had the ultimate and can close the distance much easier. Mid lane turret going down on the side of FPX, trying to manage to steal that with the scuffle. OMG out of position in the moment. New seeing this same scenario go down before, opts to give up the outer turret as FPX doing a great job securing all 3 outer towers and now starting up Dragon while getting both Rift Heralds. I think OMG unfortunately are giving too much in this middle game. They're starting to give a bit too much leeway to FPX, who will definitely take this advantage and run away with the game. I think they might be a bit too worried after the initial misstep there by Eric and Gold onto Nuguri in the top lane. However, that kind of thing is to be expected, and I think that giving up your tier 1 mid tower without a contest might be a big mistake. Wuming should have started. Oh, but they had no way of going in actually unless Cold hit a hook or Renekton was there. Unfortunately, Renekton was in the bot lane trying to catch the wave, but Nuguri and Tian together managed to chase him off of the tier 1. Well, all that is said and done, we can only look forward from here on out as the outer tower for FPX is taken by Wuming, who manages to get that push. Chris is looking for him though in the tri-bush, scanning around, likely to try and establish some more top side vision, which shows us that FPX is probably looking to play towards this top side, and you can probably see why, as in 2 minutes and 30 seconds now, we're about to see Baron spawn, and I'm very sure that FPX, as much as possible, want to take this Baron as soon as it spawns, as Crisp is in actually a really good spot. If Eric stepped past that bush there, I think Chris would have flashed behind him and brought him into LWX with the suplex. Meanwhile, doing FPX just taking advantage of the fact that they know that there's no one from OMG is in the topside jungle, moving in to take the tier 2 tower, basically taking it for free. Nuguri and New on the other side of the map. However, Nuguri does have teleport while New does not. New, realizing that there is no way he's going to be doing any damage to this Gragas, opts to not even trade into him, as he would simply be able to heal back with his passive, as Tian moving in to secure his vision again in the top side. The top side is completely being dominated now by FPX, who are trying to pushing the waves in. No more tier 2 tower for OMG means that FPX's waves can get much deeper now when they push the waves in when Baron spawns. Now they are simply just waiting for Baron to spawn, maybe looking to make a pick. A great ward between the bushes there by Cold, securing vision of the red buff of the little transit between mid and top. Meanwhile, well, as soon in a couple of seconds, Nuguri is about to run into Aki here. Maybe he'll consider trying to steal this Scuttle Crab cheekily. However, no, he doesn't make his presence known as he simply backs. Meanwhile, Tian stealing away the red buff. Aki, knowing this, was probably going to try to look for resources on the other side of the map because you don't want to lose out too much. As FPX resets on the map 50 seconds before Baron spawns, likely to ensure that they can begin Baron as soon as it starts if they find members of OMG out of position. OMG now in a pretty awkward spot, because if too many members of their team back or are seen backing, FPX will start it up immediately. LWX and Doing B and Tien all providing tons of damage for the Baron. And this Baron, they're doing it not with the intent to, they're doing it and they'll take it if they must, if they can. However, more likely than not, they're just looking for a fight now, as Eric has gotten his 2 items, but so has LWX. OMG setting up a death bush here in the mid lane. LWX in an unfortunate position. Crisp also in an unfortunate position. In fact, FPX is incredibly split up right now. If they go right now, I think they'll be able to get a fight. Nuguri does have teleport. However, Doinbi has no way of joining this fight, while Wuming does have a way of joining this fight with his ultimate. However, Doinbi can stop him with his ultimate. OMG not choosing to pull the trigger. In fact, choosing to start Baron. I was going to say to pose around the Baron, but instead they're actually choosing to start Baron, seeing that Nuguri is bringing the wave into the tower. FPX unfortunately are in a beautiful position to start a Baron. One ward over the wall. OMG is spooked. OMG starts to peel off. Tien is in an incredibly dangerous position. However, he does have his ultimate as a TP coming in from Nuguri. Whoa, Eric was put in a incredibly dangerous position there as Nuguri is in the middle of the backline. Tien having a field day with Aki. LWX goes into the backline. Eric in surrounded by the enemies. Wuming being shot down, being chased down by LWX, and a beautiful fight there by FPX pulling the trigger when it wasn't a particularly dangerous way to do it, and Chris got fantastic positioning onto Eric over there, getting behind him, ulting him into his team, forcing Eric to use both of his summoners to try and get some distance. But then the 1v1 in the red buff cave from Tien onto Aki was exceptional. And FPX, I think when we get a replay of that fight, I'll give you guys a better rundown of it. I was just trying to kind of soak in all that I was seeing as well. Nuguri tanking up 3 members of OMG for the longest time. As we see here, Tien throws in the axe. Chris getting the flank, bringing him in, Eric flashing out. However, Nuguri just tanking 3 members, as we can see there, splits the fight up. OMG try and fall back and peel for their AD carry. However, once Tien wins the fight, he looks for the flank. LWX ulting into the backline, having the stacks on Eric from the CC that Crisp put on him, allows him easy backline access. So going past Thresh, going past Renekton, and going... Galio wasn't really in that fight, as LWX gets a 1v1, looking to get a 1v2 kill as Chris comes in to ensure that he is safe. LWX getting taken low by the collateral damage as mid lane tower still falls on the side of OMG. FPX now in full control of this game, fully in the driver's seat. 9k gold ahead, taking every single outer tower now with this Baron power play. And FPX are looking to be in an incredibly comfortable position and looking to close out this game as LWX healing up from the jungle camps, sieging 2 lanes now mid and bot, with Doinbi bringing the mid wave in. Galio's wave clear is good, but not against Baron minions, as FPX have broken in. Olympus is falling. OMG, call in the National Guard, as they are being sieged relentlessly, unable to even put out a token defense in their mid side, looking in fact to protect their bottom side, looking to avoid getting double inhibited. However, Nuguri is so tanky, tanking up the tower with impunity practically, as he just walks up his E providing him tons of mobility, able to go over walls. Chris hex flashes forward looking for something. Wuming responds with a rocket belt to try and stymie his aggression, as an ultimate runes out from Nuguri, looking to blast someone into his team, looking to blast someone away from the inhibitor. However, OMG simply backstep, which basically accomplishes the second part of it, as New looking to get a flank. However, his bot side has been chunked. New getting a stun onto Chris. Chris using the face breaker, bringing him in. Wuming throwing in Galio ultimate, Graves ultimate going in. Every ultimate from OMG basically being thrown in a desperate attempt to defend their base. FPX taking a lot of damage there from Eric's ultimate, from the flamethrower. Decides that we've done enough. We've pressured them. We've taken... Have they taken 1 tower? I think they might have taken one of the Nexus towers. They've taken 2 inhibs and 2 inhibitor turrets. That is a fantastic amount. And with Baron fading away now also is a perfect time for them to back. their Dragon Soul coming up in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I expect it to be well and truly in the hands of FPX, who've played a phenomenal early game as they catch out Aki near the Baron pit. Aki sliding by, trying his best. A beautiful ultimate from Nuguri splits the team as Galio ultimate comes in, but it's too late as a slaughter already as Aki is being chased down by 10. Nothing that we are not too familiar with as Crisp is tanking up New in there, using a perfectly... Oh, you mean using his stopwatch, not being able to finish off Crisp, desperately trying to chase Crisp as Crisp just runs away from him. Ha 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 ha, he says as he runs by Aki. The reason the whole fight started, sliding back to his base, the only member of his team to be alive. His team definitely paying for the sins of Aki's misstep. Crisp there, perfect positioning to catch out Aki. I don't really know what he was doing up there in the river, considering that Baron wasn't even up. Overall, OMG, unfortunately, aside from that one great first dragon contest, which seemed to put them in a great position. Unfortunately, the FPX composition was just perfectly crafted, might I say, to put them in a position to take control of the entirety of the early game, allow them to ramp up into a beautiful mid game, and allow them to close out the game before it even had the chance of getting to the late game. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for Game 1 of FPX versus OMG tomorrow. And definitely tomorrow, I will not give you guys a day of break or reprieve at all. Tomorrow, we will go down and watch FPX versus OMG Game 2. Again, guys, I am just as clueless as to the results of this game as you are. I do not watch the games that I cast beforehand. I'm watching them fresh and new right here with you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. See ya!